moved into a mogul stage. I'm totally comfortable with that. But life is about a balance. You've got kids and a wife. It's sometimes she's like, hey, get off the phone, get off your sources, pay attention to me. That's what life's about. I do believe LeBron's mogul stage in L.A. feels a little out of whack. It feels unbalanced. I'm watching his body language. I'm watching his defense. He doesn't feel all into me, Nick. How's that land for you?
You think that has to do with the off-the-court involved in, what was it, the 2 Chainz song or these other things, the shop? You think that if those things weren't going on, the Lakers would have a better record, he would be in better shape, he would be better defensively? Because I think none of that. What I think is LeBron James, one of the only athletes of all time who had never been injured, got injured because he had never been injured, did not have a plan, did not have a routine, did not know how to stay in shape during 6 weeks with a lower body injury. Colin, he's 280, 285 pounds. You can see it. He is not in shape. He does not have his stamina. This time last year, he was in the midst of game 63 of what would be 105 consecutive games played, and he got stronger as the year went on. This is all about the groin injury. This is all about the team going 6-12 during the groin injury, LeBron having no stamina after the groin injury, and the team falling apart defensively since he came back overweight, no stamina, post-injury. This isn't about Spring Hill Entertainment. It's not about Space Jam 2. And it's not about players' feelings being hurt because they were in trade rumors. It's about the injury. To me, everything else is noise.
If he does not make the playoffs and Kevin Durant wins Finals MVP again, although I do think Houston's a real challenge, I do now that the Manimal is there. Chris Paul is healthy. I do think Houston's a real challenge physically. PJ Tucker, all those guys. But if Durant wins again and LeBron doesn't miss the playoffs, first year in the West, you know, Nick, it's a third year in a row. There are going to be people that say that gap is closing fast. Are you comfortable saying if Durant wins a third, the gap with KD and LeBron is closed?
Well, to me, if LeBron misses the playoffs, he will no longer be called the consensus best player in the world.
Okay.
But the guy who will be getting it will be Giannis, not Durant. The problem for Durant, and the reason Durant, one of the reasons I believe he's leaving Golden State, is no matter how well Durant plays, and I know that step back last night had everyone falling all over themselves. I would ask you and I would ask anyone, if you take Durant off the Warriors and you put Giannis there, or Anthony Davis there, or LeBron there, or James Harden there, or if we want to go down a tier, Paul George there, or let's say Jimmy Butler there, we can, or just keep going. How many guys also have back-to-back championships? How many guys are on pace to win a third championship? That's the problem for Durant. That's why it's hard for him to jump a level like you're talking about with Golden State. But right now, the best basketball player currently playing is Giannis Antetokounmpo. And the problem for LeBron is last year at this time. In fact, we could go year by year by year. Each of the last 5 years at this moment, on this date, people were writing the columns of, is LeBron still the best basketball player alive? Because for 2 years, it looked like it was Steph. For a year, it looked like it was Harden. Last year, people were saying Durant. And then this year, Giannis. But then what would happen? The playoffs would come around, and for 2 months, LeBron would so clearly be greater than everyone. Last year, it was laughable, the gap. He might not get that opportunity at all. And if he does, it looks like it'll be for 2 weeks, not 2 months. Of course, that will change people's opinion, and it should.
You know, I'm looking right now. Listen. I watch the NBA, got the league pass, watched the Laker game last night. I pick a game, and I bounce around. But one of the things I used to make fun of Bill Simmons. I'm like, Bill, there's the regular season and there's the playoffs. And once teams are established, LeBron James, Warriors, Rockets, they just don't care as much. Then you get the Denvers and the Torontos and the Milwaukees where they want to show everybody, hey, this is a flex. We can. I don't buy Denver.
Yeah.
One player dominates all their stats. I don't buy Toronto, where Kawhi is great, but has never really shown me. Again, I like him. I don't buy the baby dinosaurs. And I do think Milwaukee's the best of those three, but they couldn't win a road playoff game last year. Aren't we all kind of fallen for... We know the Boston Celtics can win road playoff games, have 2 stars, have the best coach. Boston's going to win the East. Why are we losing sleep over this?
No. I was so with you for everything you said up until Denver. I thought this was going to be an anti-Denver commentary.
No.
I was going to join you on that. They don't have a go-to guy at the end of the games. Nikola Jokic went from the most underrated player in the league to now it's swung in the other direction. He's overrated. But everything after that, I fully...
You don't buy
wholeheartedly disagree with
you don't buy into Boston. I think I just do. I just think they...
No, I just listened to you write a love letter to Jason Tatum. Put up Jason Tatum, same draft class, next to Lauri Markkanen sometime before the show's over. Lauri Markkanen, who couldn't be pointed out of a lineup except for the fact that he's 6'9" or 6'10. And you tell me who actually appears to be better. Jason Tatum has gotten more run out of a 6-week playoff run last year than anyone I can imagine. Jason Tatum has gotten worse this season, playing the same amount of minutes. This is a shocking alert. Jason Tatum, after spending a summer with Kobe Bryant, you know what he learned to do? Take more bad shots. Exact same number of minutes as last year, 30% more field goal attempts, less efficient, worse from 3, all the numbers across the board down, still is not a playmaker. You said Boston can win road playoff games. Why? Because they won 1 last year in overtime in Philadelphia. Boston can't win road playoff games. They're going to be on the road the entirety of the playoffs. They've been the 5th seed all year. Maybe they creep to the 4 line. That's where it ends. You have to believe in Milwaukee. That last year their problem was they had a empty bag coaching them, and he got fired, and then they brought in his assistant empty bag coaching him. With respect to Jason Kidd and Joe Prunty, but that was about as disrespectful as I can be. Now they've got a real live NBA coach to go along with a player playing better than anyone else. Toronto's only problem for the last 4 years is they had to go through the greatest player of all time en route to the finals. That's now gone. No, you've got to take those 2 teams seriously. Philly right now has an injury problem and a depth problem. Boston has a we don't like each other problem, and they aren't that good. They didn't get 2 max players back. They got Kyrie back and Gordon Hayward, who's right now a negative. Jaylen Brown has gotten worse. Terry Rozier's mad at everyone. And Jason Tatum's a nice player. But let's stop with all this, oh, my God, Jason Tatum's going to be on the under 25 list for the next 4.5 years. Yeah, because he's 4.5 years under 25, not because he's got some magical powers. Like, calm on the Tatum stuff, I beg of you.
I don't know. I like him. By the way, you gave me this week, I got a text from you, and you said Odell Beckham Jr. wants your number, and Odell Beckham and I talked for 25 minutes the other night. It was a wonderful conversation. It was private.
Good.
It was private. It was fascinating. It was great, and I learned a lot of stuff about him, and I think we really connected, and I loved it, and I thank you for that. Here's what's interesting. Antonio Brown's out there, and Odell Beckham's out there. And I said yesterday, Antonio Brown, I'm not interested. Okay, if you can't make it work in Pittsburgh as a wide receiver, I'm out. Odell Beckham is flourishing in an organization that has become the Cleveland Browns with more history. The Giants are a mess. Give me your prediction in the next year. Odell, who you know, and Antonio Brown, who you don't.
Listen, full disclosure, not only do I know Odell, I would consider Odell a friend. I really like him as a person, so I'm a little biased here. But Odell is younger. Odell is more physically gifted.
Yeah.
Odell has thrived with far worse quarterback play. And Odell's biggest problem, aside from some maybe caring a little too much about what the media says about him, is he is so emotional when it comes to winning, he cannot always control himself. AB has a different set of issues. AB, set the blonde mustache Hulk Hogan style aside, he's got real issues. You can't quit on your football team. There's one. You cannot. How about off the field? The allegation that Antonio Brown threw furniture off a 15-story balcony and almost hit a small child. I say that this as a parent. That's horrifying. And it's for a 30-year-old man. It's wildly reckless behavior. And AB, as he has gotten older, has seemed to increase the volatility.
Yes.
Odell had one misstep in the last 12 months. That interview with Josina Anderson and a high out of his mind Lil Wayne, where Odell simply told the truth. So to me, it's a no question. No, I think Odell's stock will go up from here. I don't know that Antonio Brown's stock will ever get higher than it was maybe 8 months ago.
I cannot wait for Jason Tatum to take Giannis to the hoop in the playoffs and Nick Wright apologize.
Oh, my God. Giannis, you say there's regular season teams, and I get all that. Yeah, the Tatum stuff, I just want to see, do this before the show's over. Have Goulet or Tui, and by the way, I left out Tui when I was shouting out people a few weeks ago. My apologies. Have somebody give you a full list of Jason Tatum 30-point games, because it'll be on one sheet of paper and it'll be one line long. Do that for me.
All right. Well, I still like him. And by the way, I do think they've got a lot of moving parts. The Gordon Hayward, Jason Tatum, Kyrie Irving. There's a lot of rumors with Boston. I don't think chemistry's been great. I think that egos dissipate in the playoffs because stars realize games matter now. Let's get over our drama. First things first, Nick Wright, we got to run. Good seeing you, bud.
See you, man. Good to talk to you.
Coming up next, Kyler Murray, first quarterback, first